Tulsi Gabbard just caught the Trump administration in an extremely troubling lie that, if taken seriously, could actually lead to Trump being re-impeached or members of his administration being brought up on international war crimes. Let's talk about it. So by now, I would assume that most of you all have heard about the assassination of Iran's general, Soleimani. For those of you who do not know who he is the most popular person, or he was, I should say, the most popular person in Iran. He was the second most powerful person in Iran. He was also pretty damn well liked by, or I won't even say well liked. He was respected by multiple governments that don't even necessarily like each other all that much. But that was because he had one unique quality that all these governments found useful, which is that he is known as the ISIS killer. In other words, he was touted before his untimely death as the #1 force against ISIS in Iraq and the rest of the region. Not only that, but the man had never, ever once taken the life of a United States citizen. He has never, ever once been on record being responsible for an attack on the United States base. Obviously, he's never been responsible for any attack on the United States soil, because that would be a whole different thing. And yet, we attacked him. Now, the reason that is being claimed by the Trump administration, ultimately, is that there was some threat posed by Soleimani of some type of imminent attack on the United States. Where? I don't know. When? But, you know, at times like this, we try to look to our government to give us some guidance, because if you just assassinated the man whose murder could ignite World War III, you would figure you'd be able to look to the government for some guidance as to why you made such a ridiculous decision without consulting almost anybody, right? Tulsi happened to catch the explanation of the Trump administration, and she caught them in a huge lie. Let's check out this tweet from Tulsi Gabbard. Now, well, let me make sure y'all can see it. Make sure y'all can actually see it. Now, Pompeo, this is what Pompeo said. The attack was imminent, but, quote unquote, we didn't know when and we didn't know where. Tulsi goes on to say, well, if you don't know when and you don't know where, that is not imminent. I know that sounds simple, right? It sounds mad simple. I know. But the problem is, it isn't. I don't think that people really understand the gravity of what Tulsi just discovered. She just, by doing nothing more than paying attention to detail, which I can say pretty confidently that no one pays closer attention to the details of not just foreign policy, but domestic policy as well. Nobody pays closer attention to the details than Tulsi. This woman is forever studying, forever reading, looks at both mainstream and independent media to put the pieces together for herself. And that is a result of her paying attention to details. Because you have to ask, once again, why did we assassinate General Soleimani? The why that the administration gave us was that there is an imminent attack. Now let's look up the definition of imminent. The definition of imminent is as such. It's about to happen. Literally. It's about to happen. About to happen. You know, one of the inherent qualities of the word imminent is that you know it's about to happen, which is the only reason that you could claim that something is imminent. You literally can't claim it's imminent unless you know it's about to happen. Okay? So for it to about, quote unquote, to happen, for it to be about to happen, you have to know when. You have to have some inclination as to when. And if it is going to happen, you also need to know where it's going to happen. Because the reason why it's so important to understand when and where is because, one, if they said where and it turned out to be somewhere that has nothing to do with United States soldiers, then an imminent attack on the United States isn't happening, right? Or if they said Soleimani 3 years ago talked about potentially having some type of issue with the United States, and therefore we might be expecting an attack later on down the line, well then that doesn't necessarily mean an attack is imminent. It just means that he's expressed dislike and distrust or disdain in the United States of America. That's not the same thing as planning an imminent attack, especially when he has showed no history in doing so. So then you have to ask once again, well, why would they tell us there's an imminent attack if there is no imminent attack? Why would they do that? If they don't know when and they don't know why would they specifically use the phrase there's an imminent attack? Well, Patriot Act and the authorized use of military force allows the president to conduct himself in a certain manner that does not require the approval of Congress if he feels that U.S. security is at risk. So say immediately at risk. So making sure to use the word imminent, he made sure that it was vague enough that he could say, well, we don't know, but we just know. And he can't be punished for it, essentially. And he makes sure that he can do what he wants to because of the imminent attack and the threat to national security. That's why he said imminent. Now, why is this important? Because Trump almost set off World War III for a quote-unquote attack that was, at this point, at the bare minimum, we don't know if it was going to happen. But if we're looking at it from common sense and history, that history being Soleimani has literally never planned an attack on the United States. Soleimani has never taken the lives of the United States citizen. Okay? Soleimani made the same deal with Iraq as the United States did, which was, while we are in Iraq together, it doesn't matter if you don't like each other. If you're going to be here, because we've invited both of you, if you're going to be here to fight ISIS, then you cannot attack the other country. You cannot attack any Iranian forces. And they upheld their end of the bargain, according to the government of Iraq. We, however, did not uphold ours. There is no intelligence anywhere that supports what Donald Trump is saying. Our own intelligence doesn't even support what Donald Trump is saying because he doesn't know when and he doesn't know where. So in other words, the Trump administration just lied to the entire world about why they violated sovereign borders and assassinated a military general outside of wartime. Which is, by the way, the most punk ass move ever. That's just, as a veteran, I don't respect that. I got zero respect for that. You took advantage of a man who placed himself in the battlefield because he believed in his cause. Whether or not you agree with it, most of you all don't even know what the hell his cause was. But so you saying you don't agree with it or do agree with it is irrelevant. But if I'm being real, but he felt so strongly about his cause that he was in the battlefield. You didn't go up to him face to face, man to man, and handle business like two soldiers do in the field. You pressed a button. No, even worse. Trump, you instructed someone else to press a button. You weren't even mad enough to press it yourself. There's a lot of words for that. Got a lot of words for that. But once again, this to me demonstrates why Tulsi is just so much far and away better to be commander in chief than everybody else. Her domestic policies are like, to be honest with you, like for the average human being, whenever I'm talking to them, I rarely had to talk about foreign policy because it's hard for the average person to understand to a degree. And it's unfortunately they're too disconnected from it. But when you're talking about the OFF Act, the Off Fossil Fuels Act, where you're talking about the only one in the entire race trying to address election integrity with actual legislation, the Fairness in Media Act, her single payer plus plan, I mean, the list goes on. That's just for her job as presiding officer of the United States of America, aka the presidency. When you're talking about foreign policy and her understanding of it, who had a better answer than her on the Evo Morales in Bolivia situation? Okay, who had a better answer than her in the Venezuela situation? Who had a better answer than her not only on the Syrian conflict, but the chemical weapons attack that she had shed doubt on since before she was running for president, and then was subsequently proven right by the OPCW leaks through WikiLeaks. Who is the only one that picked up the phone when those 9/11 victims called? Who is the only one here that doesn't seem to be one to play politics with foreign policy, but actually trying to achieve peace? Whether or not she gets it right, because she's not going to get it right 100% of the time. It's just not fact. It's just fact. It's impossible for her to do it. Right now, I mean. I believe maybe when she's not campaigning, she'll have a lot more free time to get it 98% right. But for her to pay attention to that, a detail that many people would probably render innocuous, where she catches them in the lie of the decade, which is that there was never an impending attack, and yet we pretended like there was to justify the assassination of another country's general. So once again, and now granted, I saw some Trump supporters making excuses. Oh, well, he's a terrorist. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He wasn't a terrorist. He wasn't a terrorist. He was not a terrorist. He wasn't. Just because Trump called him one doesn't make it so. You didn't even know who he was 2 weeks ago. And now because Trump called him a terrorist, now some of y'all Trump supporters think that he's a terrorist. He was a general. Trump has terrorists in his administration right now, approving arms sales to Saudi Arabia and terrorists, and the terrorists that Saudi Arabia supports. We have terrorists in this administration right now. We had terrorists in the last administration. So no. You don't, if you don't point your finger at John Bolton before he was fired, Mike Pompeo right now, who admits we lied to the people, we lied to the government, we lied to each other. We're economic terrorists, or at least those people are. They're political terrorists, and they're literal terrorists. They just wear nicer suits. And they're elected to their leadership position in terrorist organizations like the CIA. Or selected, I should say. That's the only difference. Soleimani was killed for political reasons because we wanted to weaken the overall government of Iran, but the military-industrial complex has wanted a reason to go to war with Iran. They wanted Iran to feel froggy. They wanted us to stir them up, to rile them up, that they do something out of anger and retaliation that would spark off a war like we have never seen. And I'm very, very, very thankful that Iran and their leadership are not falling prey to Trump's taunting He's still taunting like a fucking child. And lying. Straight up lying. I can't count how many lies he's told about Iran so far. More lies than he's told about Venezuela so far. So, thank you, Tulsi, for catching this. I'm very thankful that a presidential candidate is catching this. I feel like every presidential candidate should be talking about this. Bernie has been fantastic on Iran as well. I shouldn't say he has been fantastic. He's been very steadfast. And I don't really care what the Trump administration has to say. They were wrong. They were absolutely wrong. No way. There's no way to slice that. And some people may think that's not enough, but I would beg to differ, because we don't need equivocation right now. Even if you don't understand the details, if you understand the difference between right and wrong in this situation, then that's, to prevent World War III, that's good enough for me. I would like to know what your thoughts are about this. Leave a like and a comment below. Share this video. And always remember, more than anything else, people, find your balance. Peace. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell if you like that segment of Mi Casa es Su Casa. Of course, if YouTube is giving you trouble, as it always does, you can download the Rockfin app and follow us there. Also, if you want to continue to help our show grow, you can help us reach our goal of 500 patrons on Patreon and donate as little as $1. Really, anything helps. Other than that, always remember, people, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.